One of the first things that this bill does is expand the contribution limits, as you heard from testimony, nearly doubling them. I just don't understand why we need to do that. I mean, the 10 people sitting on this committee today, as of the last elect filing, we had a collective $1,806,498.27 in our bank accounts. Just the people sitting up at this dais today. Why do contribution limits need to be doubled? Should we have $3.6 million sitting up here, the 10 of us alone, and extrapolate that to so many other people? What's the point of doing that? It really baffles me why you would want to increase those limits so high. Clearly, you're able to raise enough money and have enough money to have these massive slush funds already with the limits that exist today. You know, and being in the majority party, my Democratic colleagues, you know, us Republicans in the minority, we have to go back to the well and fight hard for that money, but you have like pipelines set up directly to you. So this is the equivalent of just, you know, increasing the size of that pipeline of money that just comes to you arbitrarily so that you can have more money in the bank that you don't do anything with. And I just don't understand why is the need to do it. You're not broke. None of you are broke. Matter of fact, if this dais was a ship floating in the water, you know, that side, you'd all be drowning and we'd be up in the air. So you don't need the money. So what the heck is the point? It really just baffles my mind. You know, this is called the Elections Transparency Act. I think we should rename it the Public Corruption Authorization Act. That's what this does. This, as you mentioned before, it guts the pay-to-play. It increases influence of a small number of people substantially to get money to you that you don't need because you have so much money anyway. I don't understand. This is the equivalent of taking us back to the 1980s and undoing all of the protections that have been put in place to limit corruption in the state of New Jersey, and you are taking those away right now. This housekeeping account is ridiculous. The reason why housekeeping accounts were gotten rid of in the first place is because they were used for political kickbacks. That's why they're gone. Because that money can be used, you know, arbitrarily and something not campaign related, and people were paying people off with that money. That's why they were got rid of in the first place, and now you're bringing them back. And oh, by the way, in case you forgot, and I wasn't here yet, for the record, but in 2019, another attempt at this type of bill was deemed unconstitutional and was blocked by a federal court judge. And the reason why it was deemed unconstitutional was because it had language referring to quote-unquote political information, and that's back in this bill. You have an insatiating thirst to put up legislation that will get challenged in court, and we'll have to spend more state money on defending something that's indefensible because it's already been deemed unconstitutional. And then my biggest problem with the bill is that we have people, all of us, who donate money to us, and they don't want to be on a list. And there's that $300 threshold that exists today that protects them from being disclosed and being on those lists. Friends and family, parents, people who come to our fundraisers, where the typical price of a fundraiser is $100 a ticket, right? And so now if somebody comes to your event, a husband and wife, then they're going to be added to this disclosure and on a list. And oh, by the way, election law in the state of New Jersey allows me to pull up one of your lists and mail everybody on the list. Federal law has protections against that, but not in the state of New Jersey. So we are exposing friends and family to this and putting them on lists where they can be contacted against their will and solicited against their will for money, and then opening up all kinds of corrupt practices that shouldn't exist. This is a really bad piece of legislation that serves fundamentally no purpose. Like I said, the dais here is sitting with $1.8 million in cash reserves. There's no reason to double these things. No reason. There's no reason to open a housekeeping account that's going to not only double, but then add another double to it. It doesn't make any sense. So today, Chairwoman, I'm going to be submitting a minority statement to go onto the record as well with this bill. That'll be bolted to the bill. That's going to outline a majority of my concerns, and I hope will be part of what's used to defeat this bill in court as the second round of unconstitutional, non-transparent election procedures that you've tried to put through unsuccessfully. I'm a no. Thank you.